What is up, family? Anthony here, yet again with another Consuming Fire Ministry video. Today, we'll study the life of a humble man named Gideon and his army of 300 men. This story unfolds in Judges chapter 6 and 7, showcasing the might of the few against the many, painting a picture of the power of faith, courage, and God's providence. In these challenging times when Christianity appears to be declining, Gideon's story rings particularly true. Let's get into it. Gideon was an ordinary man from the clan of Manasseh. He lived during a time when Israel had forgotten the Lord and started worshiping a god named Baal. As a result, they were oppressed by the Midianites. Yet God chose Gideon, the least in his father's house, to deliver Israel from their oppressors. This teaches us our first lesson. God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. I'll say that again. God does not call the equipped. He equips those whom he calls. In our lives, we might feel unequipped to share God's word or stand up for our faith. But we must remember that, like Gideon, God chooses ordinary people to fulfill extraordinary purposes. Gideon responded with faith, but also tested God's assurance. He wanted to ensure that God was truly with him. It's part of our human nature to have doubts and fears. We may wonder if we are genuinely following God's will in an ever-increasing secular world. Gideon's story reminds us to trust and seek confirmation from God when we are unsure. God commanded Gideon to gather an army. 32,000 men responded, but God had other plans. He told Gideon to reduce his army, first to 10,000, then to a mere 300. This is the second lesson. God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. The vast reduction was to ensure that the victory would be clearly recognized as God's doing and not the might of the men. In a time when Christianity may seem diminishing, we must remember that it isn't about the number. It's about God working through us. It's not about the size of our faith community. It's about the strength of our faith. The battle strategy was unorthodox. The 300 men, armed with the trumpets and torches concealed in jars, surrounded the Midianite camp. On Gideon's command, they broke the jars, revealed the torches, and blew the trumpets, shouting, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The strategy created confusion, and the Midianites fled. The victory was decisive and definitive, proving that God's ways are not our ways, but his ways always lead to victory. So how does this story translate into our lives today? As Christianity appears to be decreasing, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, outmatched, and outnumbered. The story of Gideon and his 300 men is a rallying cry, a beacon of hope for us in such times. We might not have trumpets or torches, but we have the light of God's word and the call of the gospel to proclaim. Our call is not to increase our numbers by any means necessary, but to stand firm in faith, trusting that God will equip us for the battles we face. Gideon's story encouraged us to stand strong, even when we feel we're a minority, to be confident in our faith, even when it seems society is against us. There are Gideons out there today in our communities, workplaces, and schools. These are individuals who might seem ordinary, just like Gideon did, but with the strength of faith and God's backing, they can bring about extraordinary change. We might only see the small jar we carry, not realizing the blazing torch that it holds. We underestimate the power of our influence, our capacity to shine the light of Christ's love in the darkness of this world. When we allow God to work through us, we became a force to be reckoned with. Like Gideon's small but effective army, we can effect change in our surroundings, and that's our third lesson. The size of our light isn't determined by our numbers, but by the intensity of our faith. As the world around us appears to become more secular, we might feel we are blowing our trumpets into a void. But let us remember that the noise from Gideon's 300 men was enough to scatter a vast army. Our voice, our faith, our stand for Christ can indeed make a difference. Finally, family, Gideon's story offers a powerful reminder that victory is the Lord's. The challenges we face as Christians in a secular world are not ours to fight alone, but the Lord's. So when we feel outnumbered, we need to trust in His promise. As in Deuteronomy 20, verse 4, "For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to give you the victory." This is our call to courage and faith in an age that seems to drift away from Christ. When we face battles of disbelief and secularism, we can't forget the God we serve, the God who delivered Israel through Gideon and his 300 men, the God who promised in Isaiah 41:10, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not anxiously look about you, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Surely I will help you. Surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." In conclusion, the story of Gideon and his 300 men speak to us as Christians in a world where faith seems to be decreasing. But let this not be a source of discouragement, but a loud cry and a clear stand firm in our faith. We are called not just to be believers, but to be modern day Gideons, individuals who remain steadfast and loyal to God's commands, even when it seems we are outnumbered. Remember, in God's mathematics, less is more, weakness is strength, and defeat is victory. So let's keep blowing our trumpets and let our jars be broken to reveal the light within us. For the battle is not ours, but God's. God is still looking for Gideons today. Will you answer His call? May God strengthen us and equip us as we live out our faith. May we never forget that we are not alone, even when we are few. And may we always shine His light brightly in the world, because this is what it's going to take. Because as we begin to see things around us get darker and darker, our light needs to shine brighter and brighter. And like I said, it's not about numbers. It's about the faith that you have, because God is going to fight that battle for us. Family, I pray that you would stand strong. I pray that you would continue to grow in your word, continue to build your faith. And the way we build our faith is through reading God's word. And my prayer today is that you're doing it every single day. Thank you for watching today. And if you like this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. And if you have any prayer requests, let me know in the comment section below. We are believing God for you, and we're going to pray with you. And we know that we serve a mighty God, a powerful God who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or that we think. Thanks again for watching. Stay faithful and continue in your words so that faith can grow. God bless.